Buildings have evolved, so let's give them the attention they deserve. This is 10 Minutes to a Better Building, a podcast from the building experts at Boland. We're a building solutions provider with more than 350 professionals and 150 technicians with one goal in mind: to make your building better. Hello everyone, and welcome to 10 Minutes to a Better Building. I'm your host, Tyler Kern. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the show. Today we're talking about service coordination, what that means, what that looks like, and how it provides value to the client. And joining me today is Edith Lemus. She's the Service Coordination Leader at Boland. Edith, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Edith, let's start off just with the basics. Give us the basics of what service coordination means at Boland and tell us a little bit about why it's so important.
Well, service coordination is really important. We take care of our internal, external clients, answering the phone calls, making sure that everybody gets AC in their building, pretty much.
That's an important thing. You want comfortable people inside of buildings, that is for sure. And so I think, Edith, it sounds like, just from having conversations with you, it really sounds like service coordination is the hub of all of Boland's operations. How do you make sure that you kind of, with all of the different hats that you have to wear, with all the things that you're juggling at all times, how do you make sure that you have everything covered and that you're ready to go with everything that needs to be done on a daily basis?
Well, staying organized is really huge in this department because, like I've mentioned before, we wear many hats. Mm-hmm. So staying organized and staying on top of the requests that are coming in. We have a group of 10 coordinators that are on top, making sure that all the requests that are coming through are answered, and everybody pretty much follows the same organization portion where we take care of, putting things in our folders and making sure that whatever comes through, we respond in a timely manner and we cover in a timely manner as well.
Absolutely. So when it comes to serving your clients, what's the most important thing for them, and how do you make sure you're meeting their needs? So what really stands out as their primary needs and what matters most to them?
So their primary needs is either getting AC or heat in their building. They want to be comfortable. They want to make sure that their tenants are comfortable. Our job is to make sure that we make them happy and we are responding in a timely manner. So I think that's pretty much when it comes to serving our clients, is making sure that they are comfortable in the building with whatever they need as far as, AC and, heat and stuff like that. But we also want to make sure that we are responding and making sure we call technicians and do our part to get the call covered.
Absolutely. So how does service coordination help Boland stand out in the marketplace from your competitors and from companies that do similar things to you?
I think that Boland, in the way is our responsiveness, how fast we're able to fulfill the client's request. And also what it boils down to is customer service and making sure that the customer feels comfortable. We receive a lot of calls from customers where they're exasperated, they're upset, they don't want to hear us tell them that we'll get right back to them because they wanted service yesterday. But when you talk to the customer and you make them feel that you understand what their issue is and that it means and you care about it, it eases them down. And I feel like that's where Boland stands out because, even though they're our clients, they're also part of this family. And we want to make sure that they're okay. And we're going to do everything, aside from getting somebody out there. But our interactions are also going to be very pleasant as well to make them feel comfortable.
Definitely. And I know that you've talked about the quick responsiveness from Boland being a stop, drop, and roll type of thing to solve problems. Tell me about that and how you stay on your toes and ready to solve problems at a moment's notice. What does that look like for you on a daily basis?
I mean, every day is different. Every day we get different types of scenarios, but especially in the summertime, we get slammed with calls. I can tell you sometimes we have 15 or 20 calls sitting there on our dispatch board waiting to be covered. And all of our tags are working on roofs, they're out there sweating and working really hard to, in different buildings, and they're also booked. So we are faced with the challenge of trying to find coverage, trying to find somebody who is readily available. And a lot of times you have to, when I mentioned having these pleasant conversations with the clients, also it also goes along with the technicians. We talk to them. We're like, hey, we try to convince them if they're able to do the work on their way home or whatever. And that's how we find solutions. Calling everybody from a team just to get the calls covered, which is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Edith, you've been there and doing service coordination for 8 years now. Tell me how things have changed and how things have evolved in your time there at Boland and working in service coordination.
I will say the structure has changed a lot. The way things are structured now, before, in my time, there wasn't a service coordinator leader. Now I fill that position, and I feel like is super important to be that backbone for coordinators. And aside from that, we also have, Boland has worked really hard to go paperless. So a lot of the tickets that we used to get time processing, we don't get that through paper anymore. It's all, in the computer. They sent over their timesheet. We process all of that. They introduced a new way to dispatch technicians to jobs. So they get everything on their phone. But everything keeps moving more to the digital side of things, which is really cool.
And you really are the backbone of the company, making sure that people get to where they need to go, that calls are answered quickly, that clients' needs are met. I think that's a really important aspect of everything you do, just being that backbone of the company and really tying everything together. If I think of Boland as a wheel, you really are at the hub, and I think that's a really important thing. And a really important service that you provide there, Edith, at Boland, is just being able to kind of make sure that everyone's in the right place at the right time. So all of the juggling of things that you do and all of the coordinating, I think, really pays off in a way that matters to the client, don't you think?
Absolutely, it does. It all just ties it all together.
It sure does. It sure does. Well, Edith Lemus, Service Coordination Leader at Boland. Edith, do you have any final thoughts, anything you want to leave our listeners with here today, just so that they can understand service coordination a little bit better, understand your role, or just anything you want to say in closing? Let me turn the floor over to you for any final thoughts.
No, I will say, basically service coordination, again, like you mentioned before, is the backbone of the company. Our role primarily is customer service, making sure that everybody's happy, and you have to love this job. You have to love what you do in order for you to shine. And I really love what I do. I love working with clients. I love working for Boland. Greatest company I've ever worked for. So yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Fantastic stuff. Edith Lemus, Service Coordination Leader at Boland. Edith, thank you so much for joining us here on 10 Minutes to a Better Building and explaining service coordination a little bit better and helping people understand how what you do at Boland helps their buildings be better. Edith, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And everyone, thank you for tuning into another episode of 10 Minutes to a Better Building. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go back and check out some of the previous episodes of the show as well. We cover a wide range of topics in the world of how to make buildings better, no matter what your particular goals and objectives are for your building. And so go check out all the other episodes of the show. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or go to Boland.com to learn more about Boland and also the podcast. And again, thank you so much for joining us for this episode today. Stay tuned. We'll have more episodes coming at you very shortly. But for this one today, I've been your host today, Tyler Kern. Thanks so much for joining us.